Hey, Barrington Schools, it's Mr. Flood. How are you? I was there 6 months ago, November last year. A snowflake, snowball, snowflake, snow. I always forget. I always forget if it's snowflake or snowball. Mrs. Winkleman and I have stayed in touch. I don't even know who she's sharing this with the packed kids from that I spoke to at Hickory Camp, Prairie Campus, Station Campus. I'll just make it general for everyone. So I've stayed in touch with Mrs. Winkleman, and her and all the staff, that are there that I met, in my 3 days in Barrington were awesome, and they care about you guys so much. She asked me if I would send a video, of encouragement during this weird, scary, unforeseen, strange, unknown. What other adjectives can I use to describe this time that we're all isolated and since we got kicked out of school a month ago? That's about right, right? You've been out about a month, and I know this is a strange time, but I remember when I was there how, like I said before, how much the staff all cared about you guys, and you have good people there in Barrington, obviously, who love and care about you and want you to do well. And thrive and prosper, during these times, especially when you're out of school. And if you all remember the challenges that I gave you when I was there, they are three things that are so applicable now. I don't know of anything else that's more applicable than the three things that I talked about. One, the first challenge I gave you was to look on the inside of people, because we're all alike on the inside. And if this pandemic and the virus doesn't absolutely prove that, I don't know what would, because I'm just like someone else. I'm just as susceptible as someone else. My family is struggling just like other families. No one is immune to this, right? I mean, younger people maybe a little bit less, but even forget about the virus itself. We all know that we're alike on the inside. Somebody loses a job. My dad lost a job, whatever, right? We're all alike on the inside. And when you realize that enables you to have compassion and empathy for someone else. Now, you should have compassion and empathy for everyone, but of course it's easier and simpler to have it for someone that you realize is just like you. So you start there, and then you take it out to the bigger world where you start to have compassion and empathy for everyone, not just the people who are just like you. So look on the inside of people, realize everybody's going through the same struggles, right? Everybody's going through the same struggles. Second thing I talked about when I was there is how important it is to stay connected and bonded to your teachers. Respect and say thank you to two adults in your building, right? The teachers now, I guarantee that most of them, if not all of them, had never taught remotely before, online with Zoom and Skype or whatever you're using to stay in touch with your teachers. And whereas before, the teachers were able to separate their home life from their school life, now everything's blended. They might have a spouse at home. They might have pets at home. They might have younger children than you guys at home that aren't even in school yet and that they have to feed, take care of, entertain, keep occupied. They may have kids that are your age or a little older who are in school, not in school, but going to school online like you are, that they have to navigate and work with them and keep them interested. And then they have to teach you. And I don't know a lot of teachers that have a room in their house that they can lock themselves in to teach you guys, although I'm sure maybe some of them do have a secret room in their house that they can lock themselves in when they've had a tough day. So make sure that you stay connected to your teachers, guys, now, and just be understanding of them. Can you have a bad day? Sure. Can you have fun, when you're online? Absolutely. But don't you want to be the kid when you get back to school, and I don't know if it's going to be this year or in the September, but don't you want to be the kid when you get back to school where the teacher looks at you and says, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for virtually showing up. Thank you for being to the Zoom meeting on time. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for sending in your assignments on time, right, or early. So don't you want to be that kid, right, who forms a stronger bond with their teacher? Maybe it's easier, it's not as intense face-to-face. And the third challenge I gave you is no one eats alone. Now, I know you can't do that, but what you can do is this, and I'm imploring you guys to please do this, because I'm sure you'd all want someone to do this for you if you were struggling. We're going to lose people because people are dying because of this virus. Let's not lose anyone because of sadness, loneliness, depression, and isolation. Those things are easily solved with a phone call, reach out, a note, a text, an email, whatever, some kind of send a carrier pigeon to someone's house. I had a teacher email me last week, guys. She said, Mr. Flood, I'm struggling. I teach hearing impaired students. She teaches deaf kids. And she said, I'm having a hard time, working with them online, signing and everything like that and typing. And it's just difficult. And I wrote back to her, I said, when do you think the last time any of your students got a handwritten letter in the mail? And she said, oh my God, I never even thought of that. And I said, I know it's just one small gesture, but why don't you put the pen to paper and mail them a letter? And I don't even know if any of you guys have ever written a letter, maybe you do, with all the technology now. But wouldn't that be awesome if you just started like a letter chain? All it takes, a pen, a piece of paper, an envelope, and a stamp. That's all it takes. Wow, it's so archaic, Mr. Flood. That's so old. Yeah, but it's something, it's tangible. It's something like you're going to have. I know, I love getting letters in the mail. I love getting cards in the mail. I can't remember the last time I got a letter in the mail. I know I've written letters to people, but maybe put the pen to paper and write somebody a letter. But what I'm really imploring you to do is to reach out to someone who's struggling and lonely. Because think about the kids who were isolated and lonely when they were in school, and think about how doubly isolated they are now. Reach out to people, because you'd want someone to do that for you. No one eats alone. And the last two things I want to talk to you about are, when I struggle, and I'm struggling right now, I had a terrible day yesterday. It was just a lousy day. But I let it be that. When I struggle with things, unstructured time, because I don't have another speech. It feels like I haven't spoken since I was there in Barrington in November. I haven't spoken since like March 6th, and I don't think I have another speech until the summer, because everything just got postponed and canceled. When I struggle with things, what helps me a lot is to make a list. They say when you're listless, make a list. Like being listless means you're blah, you're down, you're sad. I make a list. So it might be feed the dog, walk the dog, empty the dishwasher, send an email, make a video, write a letter, make that phone call, reach out to someone, read a little bit, meditate. Like I make a list of 8 or 9 things that I have to do. And maybe I do 6 of them, but I cross them off and it gives me a small sense of accomplishment. So maybe that's something that you can work on. And again, it might be small things. Help your mom with laundry, do my homework, read, talk to my brother or sister, right? Make a phone call. And you cross things off, and it just gives you a small sense of accomplishment. And the last thing I want to say to you, and then I want to say something to the seniors, those who remember me. I don't know if Mrs. Winkleman's sharing this with the whole high school. But the last thing I want to say to you is this. I'm going to ask you a question. How are you going to come out of this? How are you going to come out of this time of isolation? You can come out the same, worse, or better. You choose. I think you can come out a better person. Not better than anyone else, but you can come out of this a better person than you used to be. How? Self-improvement. You have no distractions of lacrosse, soccer, cheerleading, dance, taekwondo, ice skating, baseball, softball, tennis, whatever you were going to do in the spring. All of those things have been postponed and canceled. So what are you doing with that time? Are you reading? Are you listening to inspirational tapes? Like do you guys even know what tapes are? I can't believe I just said that. Are you listening to inspirational podcasts? That was so funny. Are you talking to people, right? Teachers. Are you forging and bonding new relationships with people in your family across the country, FaceTiming? Are you getting closer to your family? I know you're fighting with your family if you're anything like my family. There's been some screaming in the Flood house. My daughter's home from college. Anyway, that's not your problem. But you can come out of this. I'm coming out of this a better person. I'm learning so many things about myself that I'm going to apply when I get out of this. When we're released from this somewhat imprisonment that we have. 6 months from now, I'm not looking back and saying, oh my God, I got nothing done during that 3 months we're in isolation or whatever it is. You can come out of this a better person. So work on yourself. Work on self-improvement. And the last thing I want to say is to the seniors, those of you who were at PACT, were at Camp Hickory that day, or if there's any seniors watching this, I hope you guys have a graduation. I really do. I hope you have a prom. I hope you have a graduation. I hope you have a ceremony. I don't know if it's going to be in June, July, but I hope you have one. I really, really do. But if you don't, it's going to be okay. And I know that's hard to hear when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. I'm 55. I graduated from high school in 1983. I have like a few pictures of my high school graduation. I don't remember too much of it. I remember my friends, the bonds and the forged, the really, really, really strong friendships that I formed in high school and have kept. I'm still friends with those people 41 years later, since we were 13, 14 years old. Some of my closest friends. There'll be in your life births and deaths, weddings and divorces. There'll be birthdays and missed birthday parties. There'll be sunny days, there'll be rainy days. There'll be jobs and there'll be lost jobs. There'll be happy times and there'll be sad times. There'll be graduations and there'll be missed graduations. It's just one. Now, granted, your parents and your grandparents have never even gone through anything like this, but you will come out of this a better person if you realize that it's just one more thing. It's something that you're going through in your life. It's can I create something from this? How am I going to come out of this a better person? Again, I pray that you have a graduation. I really do. I know that's a big deal for high school seniors, for college seniors. That 4 years you put in, you want to be acknowledged, you want to be recognized, all the accomplishments. I get it. But if it was the worst thing to happen to you in your life, that you didn't have a graduation ceremony, you'd have an awesome life still. Promise you. Because there's thousands of things that are worse than that. I know it's hard for a 16, 17, 18-year-old to hear that. You guys are going to be okay. And I will pray that you have a graduation ceremony and then you have a prom. And I hope I get a chance to come back and see some of you in a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts or a Panera somewhere out there in Barrington, in Illinois, somewhere in the Midwest, Chicago, wherever. And then I get a chance to speak at the high school. But again, I hope you're all well. Staying healthy, and to all those kids that I forged some relationship with there, I really, really, really hope you guys are all well. Hope you guys are all well and staying healthy. Have a great day. Take care of your families. Be well, guys.